championship game in Division I lacrosse, a tremendous offensive team. They beat Harvard, another team that can score a lot of goals. Team Australia, the national team from Australia, they beat them 26-17, a huge number. Mount Washington, your team, Dennis Wade, they beat you, the defending champion, twice.
And in both cases, the scores of those games were 20-plus goals, which is what makes this so incredible.
Looking at Team Toyota, we'll have to find out how are they going to regroup and get this run and gun back in track. We'll be back with the third quarter in just a moment. Would have to be for them to win, and they are in control. They have been from the opening faceoff. Panetta, Darren Lowe scored the first 2 goals of the game to give them a 2-0 lead. They have led throughout. Chesapeake Toyota not putting any runs together. This is Bill Baroza, and he has his team doing what he wants them to do, and that is control tempo. Now, we ended the first half with an extra man for Long Island Hofstra, but Dennis Way, they lost possession. And the possession was awarded. It wasn't a face-off, but they awarded the possession to the team that should have gotten it when the first half expired, and that was Toyota.
Right, the ball came off of a Long Island stick, went out of bounds, and then the clock ran out, so it was possession Toyota. So now they're just going to burn the penalty.
Toyota in red, Long Island Hofstra in blue, controlling this game. One thing you talked about, Dennis, during our halftime when we weren't on the air is something you ought to bring up now, and that's the fact that Long Island Hofstra has been to this game before. This makeup of players, of great players on Toyota, they really haven't been to this championship game. I think that veteran aspect is really showing itself.
Well, and the other thing, too, is the Long Island kids deserve, I say kids, some of them as I am, they deserve a lot of credit for being able to play this kind of style, because it takes a lot of patience. And this isn't a style they've probably had to play all year, and it really says a lot, you know, for what's inside these guys, that they'll swallow their pride and swallow their ego and do the right thing, which is, you know, to slow the ball down, because they know they're outmanned in this game if they don't play this way.
McCabe takes Townsend across the midfield line, gives it back to Sombrado. So rather than take it to the goal, they know they want possession time. They've got the 3-goal lead. They just back it off to Steve Sombrado and again deflate the ball for a while.
And also, just adding to that, Leaf, I think a lot of credit goes to Billy Baroza too for rallying these guys around this game plan, because so far it's worked.
Purdy trying to go against the long stick defense of John Tillman. Ball on the ground, but they pick it up. Panetta's got great size, you know, number 11. He's got 2 goals. Oh, they tried to go across to Steve Sombrado. It goes out of bounds. It'll be Toyota ball. Kesnick comes way out of the goal and picks it up. We promised conversations with Quinn Kesnick, and we are not going to get him, folks, because he got behind early. He ripped off the electronics, and he is going to try to win himself a championship. Join us again in Vail. You'll talk to him then.
Yeah, I think it comes down to, with Quinn, as a matter of priorities here. The first priority, obviously, is to bring home the championship.
He's refocused. Let's see if his attacking get going. Haven't heard from the Gates. This is Gary, wide left. And that's a big factor, too. You've got Gary and Paul Gate, who really, given the chance, can go through anybody. You've got to have them put up some numbers here for this team to get back into it.
And, you know, and if I'm Dan Llewellyn at halftime, that's exactly what I'm saying. Guys, you know, you got to go with what brought us here, and that's Paul and Gary Gate. And those are the guys that you want the ball in their stick.
Now I'm going to play the other end of the coin again. If you're Baroza, the first half was exactly like he wanted it. This man, Bill Baroza, had Paul and Gary Gate playing more defense minutes than he had them playing offensive minutes, and that's what he wanted.
Absolutely. Your strategy is to make them work on the defensive side of the field, try and tire them out. So by the time they finally do get to the offensive end of the field, you know, they're in trouble. And there
this was the combination that we're waiting for. It was Gary Gate getting the ball from his brother Paul, identical twins. And these Canadian players have really changed the game of lacrosse with their great stick skills. This ball starts with Kisslinger and goes all the way over to Paul. He no-looks the pass inside.
And again, here's the problem you run into if you're a coach. You go to Gary too quickly, you go to Paul too quickly, they find the other one.
All the way
right
across.
Here you see Paul come and see how the slide, he's cheating to him, and there's the other one. So you're almost darn if you do, darn if you don't. If you don't go too quickly, he's going to run right through the, you know, his man. If you otherwise, you got to go after him.
All-important face-offs. Let's see if they change anything. Toyota trying to get back in the groove. Brothers comes up with one. Now he gets possession. Now the game is again 6-4. Toyota gets the first goal of the second half, and this is Brothers winning an all-important face-off. Very important. I talked about it more than once, Dennis, is to score bunches. They've got to score multiple goals, and of course that requires getting the face-off. Here they score, they get the ball back. Let's see what they can do with it.
Get another ball, it's slippery. Let's go.
Townsend gets the ball out of bounds, good riding. You see the great defensive player right there, number 40, Reed Jackson, played at Rutgers University. What a handful.
The other thing, too, is, you know, if Toyota can come back and score a few goals and either tie this game or take a 1-2 goal lead, it kind of prevents Long Island from being able to stay in that style. Then you kind of come to a decision where you have to say, you know, when do we have to start attacking the goal in a quicker fashion?
Brendan Kelly working over to Gary Gate. Gary Gate now, we're going to isolate a little bit with him. He's got a short stick against him, and this would be a matchup he likes. Naglieri back to Paul Gate. Power. Takes the shot, but a good check by guess who, folks? Number 40 put the big wood on him. Reed Jackson took away that shot.
And they are coming quickly. As soon as Paul or Gary start to attack the goal, they're releasing a man to double team him.
They're going back to Paul and Gary. Looks like Gary Gate and Paul Gate handling the ball almost the whole second half so far. We're early in the second half. And close, great save by Sal Nicasio. That was Maricek with a low between the leg shot, it looked like.
And that's going to be a moving pick.
Goes back to the red team, Toyota. Here is Gary Gate, number 22 again. The combination, the identical twins are 19 and 22. Watch Maricek. Gets it down low and underhands it inside. Nicasio made an unbelievable save on a shot that you had to know he didn't know was coming.
Again, as we said in the open, Tommy, one of the best finishers in this game. He's just got an unbelievable stick inside. You know, gives a lot of goalies trouble.
Kelly back to Gary Gate. What a catch by Gate. Townsend now. Toyota with a lot of possession time, Dennis. They didn't have this in the first half. This will wear you down.
And you also see who's possessing the ball during this possession time. Paul Gate, Gary Gate, Tom Maricek.
19, 22, 24. Watch him go. Oh, Paul couldn't pull it down. Sean Radeball. In close, Maricek, but it's Nicasio with another big save. One thing you haven't had a chance to see, folks, is how great Sal Nicasio is. He hasn't been tested. Already we've got 3 great saves, and we're only like 5 minutes into the second half.
And very honestly, Leaf, you know, Sal is going to have a huge game in this game for them to be able to have a chance here, I think. And so
well, you see 6-4, a 2-goal lead, and again, we keep talking about the great Toyota, but it's been a Long Island day. They have controlled the tempo, and they have that 2-goal lead, a lead they've had since early on in the first quarter. Vinny Sombrano against Woody Moore. He's not going to outrun Moore. Number 17 from Virginia. If he's got nothing else, he's got great speed.
Yeah, Woody, you can put him in the list with all the rest of these young athletic middies that Toyota has. You know, the Folks, the Woody Moores, you know, just speed merchants.
And don't get me wrong, Woody Moore has something else. He's a good player, but he's one of those speed guys. You put him and Folks on the field, and you've got another problem with matchups. If Toyota gets ahead, you're going to see them start to run a little bit. Gary Gate and Natoli, they're trying to run Gary Gate. Just tire him out. Tire him out. Great stick check by Gary Gate. Now he looks up for transition. He's a little bit tired. That's what they want. They're running him down. Kevin Lowe working on him, and finally gets it all the way across the field to Mario Lopez. But the technique of wearing him out may pay dividends, and they're doing a great job of it. Every time they get it against 22-19 on defense, they run them hard.
The interesting thing, too, is Gary, everybody talks about Gary's offense. Gary's one of the better defensive midfielders in the game. You just don't talk about that with Gary because he scores, you know, so much, and most of the focus is on his offense, but he is as good as anybody out there in a one-on-one defense.
Know, because last year you won this championship, and Gary Gate was one of your players.
And many people tried to pull the same strategy that Long Island was against Gary, which says make him work on defense. So, you know, in many cases, Gary was up to that task.
Toyota moving it in. They're trying to get the big shot. This is Drake's, number 10, to the wing. Ryan Wade looking for help. Folks, Toyota looking for rope on this one. They want to get back to within one. It'll be the first time in a long time. But look at Long Island double teaming. Folks has got great speed. Look at the stick check, though, that takes it out. Kruger from CW Post with the hold. 10 shots, 1 goal for the Gate brothers. Not much production, and they are tired out. Credit Bill Barroza. He's got a great game plan, and he's just literally taking them out of the game. He's had them playing defense 70% of their time on the field.
Absolutely, and you know, again, you just got to take your hats off to Billy and these players for playing this style and sucking up their egos and just going out there and doing whatever it takes to win the ball game, and that's what they're doing so far.
Here goes Vinny Sombrado coming across midfield.
That's right, Bruce. That's it. That's it, Bruce. That's it.
Hey, good play,
Looking for help by Malfa. Now just gets it behind, and if there's a weakness on Team Toyota, it's a little bit the defensive end. They're good, solid defense, but they don't have the superstars back there. Look at that. That's a nice check. Beautiful check laid on by Radeball. He is definitely a superstar, big All-American in Maryland, but the ball goes right back to Kevin Lowe. Darren Lowe, his brother. Working hard. Toyota getting Mario Lopez working. I mean, that's a tough thing to say, Dennis, because their defense is solid. They've got great All-Americans there, but they're paled a little bit by the great offense they have on Team Toyota. So if you're struggling to look for a weakness, you would go to the defensive end, but weak they aren't, just not as dynamic as the offense. Good running shot by Sombrado, who just took off and beat the long stick defenseman Ritter. 2 goals for him, and look at Quinn, he can't believe it. It's all falling apart as Long Island continues to lead.
And if you see Vinny here, watch Vinny as he gets inside. He waits, you know, which most players that don't have the expertise of a Vinny, watch him now. Most players would have shot it right now, but no, when he waits and sees what Quinn is giving him and waits till the last minute to see where the opening is and then lets the shot go. That's what makes him a great player.
And the lead again expanded by Long Island, 7-4, 3-goal lead, answering the goal by Gary Gates. So still Toyota not putting any bunches together. If they don't score in bunches, they are not going to win this game. Barroza knows that. Here comes Radeball. He's got Ryan to his right. Radeball will take the shot if you give him some room. Oh, he can't quite find Ryan Wade. And running right out of bounds was the defense for Long Island, and that was Martello.
Probably just as well he did kick that ball out of bounds, because some of Long Island's people were caught downfield. So that got him a chance to get back inside.
The Gates have not been on the field very much after that first 5 minutes. Gary got 1 goal, but they couldn't string any together, and that's been the problem. To come back, obviously, they've got to score some bunches. Ryan Wade rips it. Ryan Wade's got roped his 2nd goal of the game, and now they're back to within 2.
The goal scored by number 33, Ryan Wade.
Ryan Wade, All-American at North Carolina, played at Severn in Maryland in high school. Watch him just find the corner. Beautiful job. And the extra man play from the same spot, he came to the near side. This time he beats Sal far side.
And a lot of this really is a result of the fact that the Long Island midfielder goes out too far out and overcommits on Ryan. And, you know, with these talented midfielders, you just can't do that with Toyota. You really got to make them beat you inside, not go out too far, and not overcommit.
Face-off control by Long Island. They have to do that, and they are doing it beautifully. 7-5 to score, 2-goal lead. That's the time left in the 3rd quarter. 20-minute running time quarters, except the last 2 minutes of the game. That'll be stop time. Long Island has not been behind. They've led throughout this game. What a job by Long Island. Driggs playing defense against Steve Sombrado. Toyota doubling a little bit, Dennis.
Yeah, and I was just noticing that myself. When Toyota doubles, Long Island runs out of the double and then throws the ball down the side versus dodging right into the double.
Here comes the speed merchants. Schobel brings it down. Back to Kisslinger, far side. Let's see if they get a shot rolling inside. Back to Kiss with a big stick. Takes the rocket shot, and big save by Lacasio. That 6-foot pole in defense, tough to read. Is Lacasio all right?
He got stung by that one. You could tell by his reaction.
Good time to take another shot at him. He's a little bit stunned, a little bit dazed. Driggs looking for help. He's being ragged by McCabe.
It's awfully tough to read a shot coming out of defenseman's long stick.
McCabe wants to strip Driggs, and he did a beautiful job of it. McCabe was all over him like a piranha. He had him isolated, and he just went after him.
And again, another guy we talked about in the open, you know, Pat McCabe all over the field. Great athlete, very physical. And right there comes up big for his squad with another turnover. Each one of these turnovers kind of compound the situation, because if you're Toyota, you want to get quality opportunities every time you come down on the offensive end now. And it's very frustrating when you finally work, you know, your rear ends off down at the defensive side. You finally get possession, and then you come back and throw it away. And now you got to play defense again.
LoCascio just taking his time. He doesn't mind if he stays there the rest of the game. They're going to have to apply a little more pressure on the riding side of the field. Toyota's going to have to, which gives them an easy clear, but they've got to start pushing tempo. This is McCabe, far side. Major indoor lacrosse league star. Oh, Sal got knocked a little bit as they go downfield. That was not the clear he wanted. Woody Moore, great speed. Watch him take off.
I think Toyota was in a 10-man ride there, Leaf, and I think Sal was actually shooting at the goal because Quint Kesnich had come out of the Toyota goal to cover someone.
Normally that's what it means when you throw full field, but when I looked down there, Quint was back in the goal, so he got back pretty quickly. It really was a gamble.
Yeah, I don't think it was a good gamble, but I think that's what he was trying to do because the cage was open.
Haven't seen the Gates in about 6 minutes. They start off the second half very, very aggressively. Now this is Gary Gate, number 22, against Gordon Purdy. Let's try to set up a one-on-one.
And this is a tough matchup.
Size-wise, 6'2", 210, got it all over. Watch out front. Jackson trying to get one, cannot get it past the defense. Jeff Jackson played at Hampton City College, number 5. He gives that ball up to Paul Gate. Paul Gate, a little bit quiet year for him. He goes through 2 players. He's got a shot in close, off speed, shot just wide. We'll take a short break and come back with action in the third quarter. Stay with us. Third quarter action from Cabrini College coming in. Gary Gate gets it checked again. Long Island with a 2-goal lead. That much time left in the third quarter, about 5:40. Gate has been coming in, and both Paul and Gary, and at the last moment, Long Island is just taking away the shot. They're beating them physically, but they're taking away the good shot with great stick checks.
And the Long Island defense is just swarming to wherever Paul and Gary are. And let me tell you something, they got some very good defensemen on this Long Island defense other than McCabe. Reed Jackson, number 40 for Long Island, was a Division I Defenseman of the Year his senior year in college.
I think it's interesting that they let Purdy play Gary Gate. That's the matchup they give him, maybe because they want the long stick sliding.
That could very well be, but phew, that's a tough matchup for any short sticker.
So far, Gary Gate has not taken advantage of it. Gordon Purdy doing just fine. Jackson can't get it past Vinny Sombrado, putting it right into him. So Jackson not taking good, smart shots against the real veteran, Vinny Sombrado, who gets across midfield and just takes the air out of the tire. Slows it down. Kevin Lowe. Kisslinger wants to strip. Trying to wrap.
The other thing, too, Leaf, is Vinny Sombrado is the heart and soul of this Long Island team. You know, Vinny's probably not scoring the goals he did in his younger days. Oops. There we go right there. Another goal by Long Island.
Kisslinger was, I think, sagging in a little bit. Kessling has not had a chance to get comfortable. But Rosa can't believe it, but his team is doing just fine, folks.
Darren Lowe.
And Kevin Lowe was down low. Watch Darren Lowe find him. Kisslinger was cheating a little bit, I think.
Yeah, and Toyota's defense has done that all year, Leaf. They play on top of the goal, as we talked about earlier. They play on top of the cage to try to get the quick slides, but you have some cagey attackmen here for the Long Island who are cutting behind their defensemen and making them pay for it.
So Kevin Lowe scores off of the feed from Darren Lowe, and the Lowe brothers really taking over in this game. Face-off control by Toyota. Gary Gate looking to make an impact in the game. Shot and a goal for Toyota. It was that quick. Beautifully done by number 23, and that was Govett. Haven't heard from him yet, but this is a player who plays for Philadelphia in the Major Indoor Lacrosse League. Number 23, Steve Govett. a great player, played for the national team of Canada.
Yeah, another Canadian import. Good look there by Paul, and you know, it's just making Sal go side to side on the cage here. You look at the pass cross cage. Sal has to go cross cage, lets it go, and that's just a well-placed shot.
A little bit of a screen in there too that didn't help Sal Licasio at all. So the teams have swapped goals. The last 8 goals have been all singles. 1, 2, 3, 4. They've swapped goals 4 apiece. And it's been Long Island maintaining that lead that they got early on. Gary Gait trying to get control. Picks it up. Cannot control it. He is getting ragged by 2 or 3 players. Long Island with control. Now he's doubled. Can't get possession.
And I'll tell you, Lee, the face-offs in this game are going to become increasingly more and more important as this game winds down, because possessions are the key now for both squads.
Kevin Lowe comes in and just scorches it right past. Quint has not gotten comfortable. I know he's going to blame us because Dennis, he just didn't get comfortable wearing all that hardware. He got the electronics on, has not gotten settled, but the shots have been right in his face. Kevin Lowe, 2 goals in a row.
I was going to say, I don't know you can really blame a shot like that on a goalie. I mean, the guy's coming right down in his face. You know, the question really is, where's that defense? How come a guy's taking a 7-yard uncontested shot on you, you know, and it's come all the way from the restraining line down?
So a timeout call for the moment.
We got plenty of time, fellas. Get the ball. All right? Let's get the ball. We got the ball on offense.
Just a reminder, we have official USCLA.
Clear out the middle of the field. Give them room to work. Clear out the middle of the field, all right? Then when they got to slide, we're going to follow the slide. We're not going to sit in the middle. All right? We got to move off the ball. Defense, we got to wake up and let's shut the door. No more, fellas. Let's go.
You guys got a lot of pride. I would never, ever.
Come on, baby! No penalties! Right now! It happens right now! Toyota on 3. 1, 2, 3! Let's go!
Let's go, Toyota. What are we doing here?
Well, there you go, folks. They are fired up.
I think what you're hearing Danny Llewellyn saying is, let's open up the middle of the field, because he realizes that the Long Island squad is double teaming Paul and Gary very quickly. So by opening up that middle, you make their slides longer. Therefore, you have a better opportunity to try to find the open man and then follow their slides. You know, when a defenseman slides low to high, the man he's sliding from has to follow him and get in a position where he can get the pass from Paul or Gary.
If we've noticed, you folks at home, we've all seen it. Gary and Paul both can beat these guys, but then the second check comes in and takes it off. Look at the face-offs, very close. Long Island with the lead.
And as we said, you know, face-offs are a possession, and possessions are critical.
Long Island comes down. Good stick. Great stick check by Gary Gait. Watch him coming in looking for the shot on Licasio. They can't get it off. Again, a big stick check at the last moment to take away the shot. That has been really the story. No great shots. Licasio has made some big saves, but the combination of that and accurate stick checks have taken away the thunder from the Toyota offense. 9-6, a 3-goal lead from Long Island, who is controlled throughout the whole game. We're in the third quarter.
And I think a lot of those late stick checks you're talking about, Leaf, is also has to be attributed to effort. They're not giving up. You know, they are continuing to stay with the play till the very end. And the guy's normally going to cock his stick back to take a shot. And these Long Island guys aren't giving up. I mean, even when a man's beat, he is hustling and he's staying in the play. And when the guy brings his stick back to shoot the ball, they're checking their sticks.
Well, if you look at our faces that we showed you at the beginning of the game, the Panetta-Lowe combination is good for about 5 or 6 goals. The Maricek-Gary Gait combination good for only 2 goals. They definitely have been throttled by that great defense. Bill Barroza, a goalie when he played at Roanoke, All-American, is the coach, and he is stressing defense. No hold call as Toyota comes out of the pack. Here comes Mario Lopez. He's waiting for somebody to come up behind him. Lopez takes a left-handed shot with little or no angle, and it goes behind the goal. Toyota getting desperate, possibly. It's getting tight around the collar for these guys as we're inside the last minute of the third quarter, and they're down by 3.
I'll tell you, that's not the shot you're looking for, I'm sure, if you're on the sidelines of Toyota.
Gary Gait, open middle of the field, looking for help. Inside close, great stick check, takes it away again. What a great slide. Brian Kelly had the shot. He found the open man, but Long Island anticipated, went to it, and put the stick on it.
And, you know, what else can you say other than just effort? These guys are putting it on the line for Long Island. And they're getting there just in the nick of time, it seems like, every single time. You know, and that's not happening by mistake. That's happening by effort.
Gordon Purdy bringing the ball down. Now as Kevin Lowe collected it. And Lowe not getting much pressure from Kisslinger. Back to the great one. Vinny Sombrado, number 12.
Hey, Gordy, get out of the way. Get out of the way.
17 shots, 3 goals for Team Toyota. Look at the number of shots and only 3 goals. That was probably, obviously, their most productive quarter shot-wise. Kessnick comes out. He likes to get things going. He's got good speed. Far side of the field is Kelly. He wants push it, looking for help. Comes into Gordon Purdy on defense, looks inside, tries to get it to Woody Moore, who was not open. Kelly by himself. Watch behind him is Gordon Purdy. Time winding down. About a half a minute left in the third quarter. You see the time, obviously. Gordon Purdy playing, really drawing the tough defensive assignments. Most of the time when they isolate, you'll see Gordon Purdy, number 9, playing defense.
Gordon is obviously a very good defensive midi, and he's also got speed.
Woody Moore could not handle it. Ball going to the side. Jackson picks it up. Here comes Long Island. Steve Sombrado. He's got time to shoot. 5, 4, 3. In tight. They can't get it across to the shot. Ball goes out of bounds. Clock expires. Gates having a tough day. They've only got 1 goal to show for both of them, and they will have to wake up on the offense. They are great players that are being shut down by the tremendous defense of Long Island. We'll be back to Cabrini for the final 20 minutes in just a moment. And got serious because Long Island is controlling this game. Toyota, even at this point, Dennis Way, has not scored 2 goals in a row, and that really says a lot. They have been shut down by this tempo-controlling Long Island team.
Absolutely, and the flip side of that, Leaf, is if there's any team in lacrosse right now that can
change all that?
Yeah, change all that in a heartbeat, it's these Toyota guys. There's 20 minutes left on the clock. These guys have strung 6 and 7 goals together in a 5-minute period. So, you know, this thing is far, far from over, but obviously to this point, you really have to give a lot of credit to Long Island.
Dan Llewellyn a little bit concerned. Long Island has been in this game before. They've got the experience and they've got the lead.
Well, they were here last year.
Natoli looking for help as Tillman starts to rag him. He's got the long stick Tillman working him, and Natoli still has great legs. Not a youngster, but what a great veteran Natoli is. He's got a shot, and Quint makes the brush save.
It's a great save right there by Quint.
If I was to tell you, or you were to tell me at the beginning of this game that, well, at the end of 3, Long Island's going to have 8 goals, I would say that's about right. Now, if you would tell me that Toyota would only have 6 goals or 5 goals,
I'd take you somewhere to have you committed.
It just would not be possible.
That's
they
no
would
way.
normally have, it would be a good score now, but for them, historically, would be in this year, would be 13-8, right around now, 13-8.
Yeah,
but Long Island has done a great job of just taking away the offense. So they have to do something they have not had to do all year. Well, I'll take that back, because Philadelphia, in their playoff game, had them down by 3 in the 4th quarter.
Yeah.
Let's think about that for a moment. That was one of the only times they were down, so they have that experience to fall back on. And guess who stepped up big in that game? They rode the back of Paul Gate.
Yeah,
so watch 22.
The other thing, too, is, Leaf, you know, even though you're down by 3 goals in this game, it's really not even the style that's hurting them as much as the quality of possession. And that's what you got to be talking about if you're on the sidelines at Toyota. You got to be saying, guys, we got to get good shots. We got to get shots from the people that we need scoring.
And that was a pretty good shot right there. Townsend took one, but again, Locascio, when you get all that said and done, the one thing, again, that we see time and time again is that they have a tremendous goalie in the goal themselves. Sal Locascio is a fabulous goalie, one of the best. He was the United States World Team goalie when they went to Manchester in '94. So, yeah, go ahead, work, finally get things changed around, get your good shots. Now you've got to beat the best goalie in the world.
I guess the best thing to say about that is you got to walk before you can run, though.
You got to put the shots on the goal. That's one
right.
thing. I think in the first half they really hurt themselves by not challenging Sal, not making him make enough saves. When they did get the shots off, they weren't often enough on Cage.
And I'm used to, having played these guys twice, I'm used to seeing the Toyota. When the ball's in on the offensive end of the Toyota side, that ball is humming. It is moving, and it's moving fast. And I haven't really seen a lot of that. Now, granted, a lot of that has to do with the style, but I haven't seen a lot of that. I haven't seen the ball humming, bing, 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 then goal. And that's the style Toyota really is used to.
This quarter is all pressure. We'll see how Toyota handles the pressure against Long Island. They handled it against Philadelphia, a great team that had them on the ropes. It was like a 19-16 game when they had that 3-goal lead. Or maybe it was like 15-12, but Toyota came back to win. That was just a couple weeks ago.
And the difference in that game was that Philadelphia plays the same style as Toyota, which is a run-and-gun kind of wide-open game. This is the first time Toyota really has been tested against a team that's played them in this fashion. So, that's not to say they can't adjust, but we'll see.
They've got to get the ball first, and this is what Long Island's doing, is just taking away airtime. Penalty against Toyota. They'll try to get a shot backside. Can't find Cage. But they did a great job. Control the ball. There's Bill Barroza. He's putting it all together. 3 shots, 3 goals. Can you believe that? And Long Island can't do better than that. Meanwhile, Toyota had, 17 shots and 1 goal? Or they get 3 of them. They got 3 goals also, but it was 17 shots and only 3 goals. Now it's an extra man, 6 on 5 for Long Island. They come in, big stick check by Kisslinger in the crease, so it'll give them back to Toyota. They'll be down a man still, but they'll have possession. And I'll tell you what, some of the players on their team can be dangerous in this position. You get the ball, even a man down, to a Gary Gate and a Paul Gate. If they've got enough room, they will hurt you.
Oh, absolutely. For those of you that watch the indoor lacrosse, you'll see Gary and Paul Gate, in man-down situations in the indoor lacrosse. They'll be double-teamed. They'll run through the double-team and score a goal.
Here he is, number 22. Now watch him, because against Philadelphia, when they were down by 3, it was this guy, number 22, who has been MVP in almost everything he's played the last 4 years, who took over the game. Paul Gate inside, number 19. He's looking for a little bit of space now, just kind of getting himself ready.
I think
waiting for the penalty, I guess. He's waiting for the penalty. He's trying to eat up the time, so that's what he's doing.
Yeah, and here now the penalty releases.
All right, now they're even strike. Now he can't get the easy double team. Anxious to force the action is Gary Gate. Big stick check fly by Scher, number 22. Back door, back to Townsend. McCabe, bad matchup for Toyota. Their best defenseman, McCabe. Paul Gate, great size, great ability. That shot goes wide. Paul Gate has not had one of his banner years, number 19. That's Salicasio. There's Paul Gate. He just opened up GB Lax, a store up there in upstate New York, and has been really consumed with that business operation. Tremendous talent. And he's the kind of guy that can also light it up given the right circumstances. Just give him the ball. Right into the stick. Not a great placement on that shot. Unlike Gary Gate, we had a great eye on that one, Dennis, and that is a not typical location for Gary Gate.
Yeah, that was right in Sal's stick. Sal didn't even have to move. Typically, Gary shoots off hip. And when the ball comes out of Gary's stick, it looks like a high shot. It ends up being an off-hip shot, which is dangerous for goalies.
Meanwhile, Gordon Purdy pushes the tempo, and folks, we're looking at an upset, I think, in the making here. And Quinn Kesnick, again, with a shot in his face. Gordon Purdy, the speedster from Australia, extending the lead for Long Island.
And if you notice here, Gordon just runs right by him, but you can't really see it from this angle. But I think Quint guesses a little bit here. He gives him the close side and then jumps to the far side. Watch him guess. Okay, he gives him, and then he jumps over and he shoots it close side. He looked like he had him lean into the far side and then shot it close side.
Procedure call against John Brothers. The ball goes back to Long Island. It is all their way at this moment. And that's the first goal we scored back-to-back in a long time. Kevin Lowe and then Purdy. There was a ton of goals scored on alternating fashion before that. Actually, 9 goals scored without anybody getting 2 in a row, starting in the second quarter until this time when Lowe and Purdy team up.
The other thing too is, Leaf, I think as this game the clock starts to go down here, Toyota's going to have to be overly aggressive. We just saw it last time down with a foul. When you're overly aggressive, sometimes you tend to foul, or you overcommit and give up an easy goal like you saw to Gordon Purdy.
Well, Long Island had a lot of confidence. Didn't they, Dennis, coming in? They thought, well, nobody gave them any credit. They thought, everybody said, oh, yeah, we're nothing, right? Team Toyota's going to win this game.
David against Goliath.
But they have controlled from the opening face-off. And it really hasn't been all that close, but in the direction that we didn't expect. Big save by Quint Kessenich. Here comes the ball. Pushing it up now as Tillman tries to get it. He can't collect. McCabe. What a great look for McCabe to come up and take that one away.
And I'll tell you, Lee, for Long Island to be in this position, they almost had to play a mistake-free game. They've done that. To this point, they have done that. I can't think of one glaring mistake that they've made this whole game. And again, that comes with veteran people.
They had the mix that you have to have if you play that slow down tempo, and that you control the ball, but when you have your opportunities, your high percentage opportunities, you jump all over them. And they've done that several times. Absolutely.
And it takes a veteran player to know the difference.
And there's another shot and a goal. Rope for the big guy, Matt Panetta. Team Toyota with their loaded offensive stars. They've got some of the best to ever play the game in the offensive end. Against Long Island, they would end up the victor, but they have not led throughout this whole game. Long Island, the veteran team, loaded with stars of their own, had different ideas. They had the first two goals of the game, Panetta and Darren Lowe, and they have not looked back. They control the game right now. In close, Kisslinger finally gets the ball. He breaks the ride. He breaks that clear with a great ride and finally gets one past Locascio, but Locascio was not even in the goal. But that's the kind of aggressive play that Kisslinger loves to bring to the game. Watch here as they get the ball on the ground. Finally, it's Marechek with a good ride. Here comes Kisslinger in from the midfield.
And you really don't want a situation where you have Sal, as good of a goalie as he is, you don't really want him out of the cage that far handling the ball. That's kind of, you know, maybe I jinxed him by saying they hadn't made a mistake up to this point, but that's really just a mental lapse right there.
So a goal well needed by Toyota, but it was Kisslinger, not the offensive stars, that comes up with the goal. They still need to get some output from the great offensive players. Offsides against Blue. It'll stay with Toyota on the offensive end, and Gary Gate wants the ball. You look at the Long Island sideline. They are hoping that they can continue this. That's Steve Sombrado, nearest to us. And Gary Gate brings it in, going against Timmy Scher, number 22. It's 22 against 22. Scher played at Washington and Lee. He gives it up to Ryan Wade. They like this matchup better. He's got Corello. Wade, good speed, dumps it inside, and the finishing shot can't beat Locascio. So they tried to dump it into Gubbin. Couldn't get it to connect.
And the funny thing is, Leaf, you look at a guy like a Ryan Wade. On most teams, Ryan would be your featured player. On this team, it's like, oh yeah, and they have Ryan Wade because of just the offensive firepower that Toyota has.
He's got 2 goals today, and that's 1 more than Gary Gate. So he has been the big offensive push in the midfield.
And I would think a lot of that probably stems from the fact that you know, that Paul and Gary are drawing the attention that they do. Right now, Leaf, Quint Kessenich is out of the goal, double teaming the ball.
Kessenich is out, and a penalty against Team Toyota as they try to get aggressive. They want possession. They have to have it back.
And there's that foul we were just talking about earlier, where you said when you do go get overly aggressive and you kind of get into the panic mode where you know you got to make something happen, you know, defensive people tend to swing their sticks a lot, and next thing you know, you end up in the penalty box, and that's what happened.
You score 11-7. Long Island, they can make it a 5-goal lead right now. 8 minutes to go, and I tell you what, this is tough to make up. 5-goal lead would be very, very much of an impossibility, I would say, with the way Long Island is controlling tempo. Steve Sombrado, far side. Here's the shot from his brother Vinny. He's got rope. A 5-goal lead, a hat trick for Vinny Sombrado, who, after the '94 World Games, retired for a year or two, comes back to a game he loves, and Quint Kesnick having a tough day. Our buddy Quint just has a little bit too much of him.
Nice little dump over the top there by his brother Steve. And if you notice, Vinny goes high to low on the bounce shot, especially on grass like this. You never know as a goalie whether the ball's going to bounce up high or whether it's going to skim and stay low. It's a very difficult read. You notice the Toyota guys down here, we saw 2 and 3 shots in a row shooting the ball in the air from that same, yardage range out. And Vinny bounces the ball and it gets by Quint.
4 of the last 5 goals have been scored by Long Island. The only other one was scored by defenseman Kisslinger on a broken clear, so the offense has gone south. No offensive goals in the 4th quarter for Team Toyota.
Just had a push call here on Paul Gate of Toyota, and again, Long Island now has possession again.
Now this team will be very tough to beat at this stage of the game. Toyota scrambling on the sideline. All the great talent trying to shuffle them in. This is Natoli looking for help, gets it inside. They'll go to the goal if they get a chance. You talked about it, Dennis, but very tough right now to play this. You've got to apply pressure. You've got to go out and almost overplay. And Long Island has shown you that if you overplay and make a mistake, they're going right to the goal.
Absolutely. Or, by overplaying many times, you end up in the penalty box fouling.
Chuck Bresci with a great wrap check. And that will cost him a penalty.
Again, a perfect example. He overplayed him. The first check, I think, was good. The stick came up and wrapped around his face mask. If you watch here, I think the first check he gets is good, but then he grabs him around the neck, and, a referee has to call that.
Go get it! 25!
Vinny Sombrado now with the ball. Kevin Lowe plays that left-hand shooter.
I was going to say, if you're Long Island here, you're probably going to take this whole minute, I would think. I don't even think they care if they get a shot off.
I think the minute is more important than the goal. They've got a tremendous lead.
Exactly. Just use it.
And close. That is Panetta with yet another one. A great shot by Panetta, who will be the MVP in this one. He's got 4 goals. He had 2 in the first half. He's got 2 in the second half. Right now, he is our vote for MVP.
And as we said, he's the finisher. He's a big guy. He handles the ball inside with people all around him and gets the shot off. He's a big, strong guy and takes up some area. That almost looked like a forced feed. He had people all around him, but again, he's the finisher, and he's the one that, they're looking for inside. He cans it.
Tremendous day for him. Here comes Gary Gate. It may be too late for the Gates to get untracked. Looking for help. Gary comes in, wants the shot, a little bit wide.
Leaf, I'd be surprised in this circumstance if you see the ball in anybody's hands but Paul or Gary's.
I don't think it's going to matter. 6-goal lead, about 6 minutes to go, and I think it's a Long Island day, and Wilbur Rosa should be congratulated. It's not over yet, but not much time remaining. Ball game. And Sal shuts the door. McCabe.
For your MVP, I think Sal might be getting some votes there, Leaf.
Well, Sal's had a great second half, but Panetta gave you 2 in the first, 2 in the second. I got to go with the offense. A lot of guys contributed, no question about it, Dennis. You got Vinny Sombrado, who really was the quarterback of the tempo. He was the guy, the backbone of that midfield play. Panetta doing it, Darren Lowe doing it in the offense, and Sal on the defensive end. Those are all stars. Kevin Lowe goes back. Ryan Wade's going to have to apply pressure. We're in the 4th quarter of the U.S. CLA Championship.
With a guy like a Vinny, like you say, Leaf, I think if Vinny buys onto the program, the team buys onto the program. And, Vinny's just so well respected by his teammates.
Purdy rocks one off the iron. Natoli backs up. You see where Natoli was. He's back in the hole, not giving up the fast break to Toyota.
Yep.
So they can go ahead and control it. They've got things all their way.
Plus, look how much they have the Toyota defense stretched out. I mean, the whole entire middle of the field is wide open.
I tell you, Bill Barroso, the coach of Long Island, is on the sideline after being drenched with water just to keep himself cool. He looks like he's already played a game and a half himself.
A lot lot of credit has to go to Billy for this win.
There he is. Look at him. He's absolutely drenched all over it.
He knows.
Toyota cannot get possession. Kevin Lowe brings it in. Raider ball gets set to play defense.
Take your time.
I'll tell you, there you see the shots. Chesapeake Toyota out shooting Long Island by 17. But it's really the quality of shot.
I think the stats
and a
say
lot
it
of
all.
sound.
Yeah, the third quarter stats say it all. 17 shots for Toyota, only 3 goals. 3 shots, 3 goals for Long Island. Purdy.
Quality shot in Sal Acasio.
Team Toyota goes on to play at the Vail Lacrosse Shootout. Check your listings, because if you're watching this game, good chance you'll be able to see our Vail Final, part of our lacrosse Super Series for this year. And then there's an Eastern Shore Final that'll happen in August. So 2 more great games that you get a chance to watch excellent club lacrosse. This one's winding down.
Yeah, I was just going to say, as this winds down, I'm thinking back in my memory, and I've been involved in the game, Lee, for about 25 years. I don't know if I can ever remember an upset of this magnitude in the USCLA finals. This has to rank up there, right up there with some of the greatest performances by a team that I can ever remember.
Well, it almost certainly, you would think, bring Team Toyota back next year to try to finish something that they started this year.
Oh, I'm sure.
A little bit more focus. Team Toyota really energized, I think, the USCLA this year. They came in, they put together just a tremendous team, and made a lot of teams like Mount Washington, the defending champion. A lot of teams kind of refocus, rededicate themselves to maybe a higher standard. They just said, hey, look, we've got some new blood. We've got a tremendous team we have to beat.
Well, I think,
Gary Gate. How about that? Sal Acasio making the huge save, and they can't beat Sal. So he has been the story in the second half.
Sal's on another planet right now. That save right there, that's Gary Gate from 5 yards away.
And he is pumped. Sal Acasio, the United States World Team goalie in '94 in Manchester, England. Panetta coming up there. This whole game has worked beautifully. It was like it was crafted to perfection, because they saved him in the first half, and he was hot in the second.
What? I mean, look, you're looking at Gary from about 5 yards away, and he goes opposite side. If you see it right here, he goes opposite side, and Sal gets there. That's an incredibly difficult save for a goalie.
He's a big man, but he's very quick,
Listen to me.
as you might expect.
Just listen to me, please.
Bill Barroza.
David beats the life. 2 more minutes. Don't let up.
Please listen to me.
Hold it.
Shut up. You got to keep it in.
Unbelievable.
Quiet. Sal, you don't touch the ball. You're in the crease. Okay? Gordy, you fresh? You got the ball in your stick. Guys, spread it out. You got the defensemen on either side. Reed and Pat. Tommy, you're upfield. Listen, Vinny and Nags are in the field. Guys, Gordy's got it. Clear it out, but be an outlet for him. Keep it in the box. Hey, let's finish this up. It's style. It's style.
To the scorer's table.
Well, Bill Barroza smells this victory. What a great day. Sal Acasio, 16 saves, and as I was talking before the break, Dennis Way, the beautiful job of Bill Barroza orchestrating the tempo of this game, and so many of the dividends. One of them was that Sal wasn't really tested in the first half. The tempo kept him fresh. Here's a big guy that if he had to run a lot in that sun, he might not be as sharp now, but he got a good rest in the first half. He has been sharp third and fourth quarter.
And I've seen Toyota throughout the course of this year make some very, very good goalies look very normal.
Absolutely.
And most of the reason is for exactly what you just said, is the pressure that they continuously keep on those keepers. But, this whole style has really benefited Sal.
Well, Bill Barroza said, you're in the goal, Sal. Sal said, well, I got to get out of here to make the clear happen. There was a lot of pressure, so Sal came out to help. And he did a great job. He had to violate the coach's orders, but as long as the clear worked, that's what he wanted. Woody Moore trying to get the ball.
And right now, Leaf, in the last 2 minutes of the game in USCLA, rules are that you have to keep the ball in the box.
Quinn Kesselnick is out of the goal. It's a 10-man ride. They're double teaming. Nobody is in the goal. Kesselnick is out trying to double team. Shot, trying to get an open goal. Great save by the defense. Oh my gosh, coming in was John Tillman to make a shoulder save. Quinn was double teaming. He had to. It's desperation time for Toyota.
They have to keep the ball in the box, which is the restraining line extended all the way across the field. Once it's in, it has to stay in, else they'll lose possession. You got to give these Toyota guys credit too, Leaf. You know, they're not giving up. I mean, this game is over, and they're chasing these guys all over the place.
At this level, it's like anybody on the Mount Washington Wolfpack. There's no losers here. Everybody's here as a champion. Everybody out here is an All-American several times. They're all great. There's no quitting any of these players, and you don't expect to see it. You don't see it. That's all. You never see it. Philadelphia played it right to the wire. You guys gave them a couple tough games this year. And there is Kisslinger, totally spent on the end line as a timeout is called with 53 seconds. Actually, it's a penalty. Pushing call. So it'll be Toyota extra man with not much time left. Dan Llewellyn looking to absorb his first loss as a coach in a championship game.
You know, these guys are going to be back. I mean, they're just too talented not to be, Leaf. I mean, they'll probably be back in this game. I hate to say this because we're in the same division, but with the talent on this field, you know, you would have to say that they're the front runners to be back here next year. So, you know, maybe this is a learning experience.
Philadelphia showed that you could take these guys to the wire, and Long Island, with their own little theory of ball control, has pulled the big upset. Sal Acasio saying, you got to shoot better than that. Better location to beat me, buddy. He just eats up that shot. We're down to about a half a minute of game. Time winding down here in this one, this championship. That is the time in the game, folks, and Long Island is already starting to celebrate. What a great day. Look at this. There's Vinny Sombrado. Like old times. Barossa. This team is justifiably proud of the championship that they have won back. What a job they've done.
And they have every reason to be, that's for sure.
That's it. Time winds down. The big upset is there. Kisslinger, the only player to score in the fourth quarter for Toyota. 4 goals scored by Long Island as they do the impossible. They win the U.S. CLA Championship.
United States Club Lacrosse Association champion, the Long Island Hospital Lacrosse Club. Please direct your attention to midfield for the presentation of the championship cup and the game MVP.
Bill Barossa giving his team the well-needed congratulations. We'll be back to wrap up this championship. Bill Barossa and Long Island, the big upset. They are now the U.S. CLA champions. CLA Championship is brought to you by your friends at Toyota, simply the best. By US Air and their new nonstop service to Munich, Madrid, and Rome, leaving from Philadelphia. And by Backrack Raisin Lacrosse Equipment, attacking the net at www.backrack.com or 1-800-726-2468 for all your sporting needs. Well, we are at Cabrini College, where the folks are stunned by the best in lacrosse winning from the north. Long Island Hops are bringing down a team and winning by 6 goals over Chesapeake Toyota. And Dennis Way, who could have believed it? Here is John Phillips, the assistant coach with Bill Barossa. Bill Barossa right there. What a job he did. Look at emotionally charged up because he did the impossible. He beat the team that nobody thought would lose.
You heard him in the huddle, Leaf, saying mission impossible accomplished. David against Goliath. That's what everybody in the lacrosse world thought this was. You got to give Billy Barossa a ton of credit.
And he didn't just win, he won by 6 goals. Our congratulations to Bill Barossa and Long Island. For Dennis Way, I'm Leif Elsmo. Thanks for watching.